So today I did 225 for 5 sets of 5. At the end of this workout, I realized something. I realized, that I am in the position that I wanted to be 6 months ago, because 6 months ago, I could not even do 225 for 1 rep. For me, that was a very important milestone once I embarked on this whole chest journey that I have been on, right? Where I want to grow a more bigger, fuller, developed chest. I could not do 225 for 1 rep, especially on the incline bench. So today, when I completed, my full, 5 sets, 5 reps of 225, I was feeling a little bit extra ambitious. So I wanted to see if I can do 245. I know it's a big jump, but again, that's just my personality. I wanted to see if I could do 245 for 5 reps. I only did it for 2 reps, right? But even then, I couldn't even imagine even getting anywhere near 245 for 1 rep, right? And it was one of those things that I really just had to dial things back and just kind of pull myself out of the situation of that moment, right? Because even though I wanted more, it made me realize hold up, I am now where I wanted to be 6 months ago, and I couldn't even envision being in this position that I am today, right? And it's just one of those things where it made me relate, to maybe just life in general. And I think a lot of you guys can get a message out of this, right? Because a lot of these things do not just pertain, to your fitness journey or in the gym, right? They also, translate over into our daily lives or personal lives, right? Where we're just constantly pushing or moving that goalpost further, right? Without ever really realizing that who or where we are today is what we dreamed of being, 6 months ago, a year ago, right? And we take it for granted, right? Because we're just constantly always trying to evolve. We're always trying to push it, that goalpost further, that you just forget to smell the roses along the way. And that was one of those aha moments that I had today, where I just had to really just kind of just dial it back and just be more present, right? Instead of always trying to chase, because or not feeling satisfied, right? Some of us are just wired that way, where we just want more, right? And we're very aggressive with our goals. But honestly, today was a huge reality check for me, because I had to just tell myself, that I really wanted to be in this position. I could never picture even moving 225, for reps. And it's just one of those things, where I guess when you're on this aggressive journey and you're moving at a much faster pace, you tend to just not realize, the point of where you are, because you just constantly want to keep progressing further. And, it's just one of those things where hopefully this resonates with you. You can just stop and maybe just be more mindful, more present of where you are today, right? Because you never know, right? For a lot of us, our goals are very different, but this is just one of those things that just kind of made me want to touch on this topic, or just touch on this aha moment that I had today, because I think that maybe it can help you, the viewer, right? In whatever it is that you're dealing with in life, right? That even though it might seem bad, or it might seem like you're stalled, you hit a plateau, you're not progressing, just really stop and take in the moment, right? And compare yourself to where you were a year, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, right? I can guarantee you that you've come a long way. And this is one of those things, where being today in the gym, I'm like, you know what? I have to appreciate, stop and smell the roses, right? And really just take it in for what it is, right? Because I actually impressed myself, even though I wasn't happy with the results, right? I'm just like, dude, at the end of the day, I could have never imagined even doing 245 for 1 rep, right? I did it for 2, right? Because immediately my mindset went to I want to get to 275 as my next goal. And that's what we're going to be working on. But it's just one of those things dude, just stop and be appreciative of what you have right now, where you are right now, right? Because, we can go through life, and life happens fast, and you can go through life, without ever just really, just taking it in for what it is, right? It's just one of those things, because we live in this fast-paced society, we just constantly want to keep moving fast as well, right? But it's just, you really need to dial it back, just slow it down or just be mindful. Really, I guess where I'm going with this video is I want to ask you this question, right? You as the viewer, are you happy with where you are right now? Because you really need to stop and take a second to think about it and really ask yourself, right? Are you happy with where you are right now? Because I can guarantee you that wherever you are in your fitness journey, right, whether you want to put on 5, 10, 20 pounds of muscle, or you want to lose 5, 20 pounds, right, of fat, or you want to be able to do 10 push-ups, 10 pull-ups, whatever it may be, I can guarantee you that you are in a much better position if you have been put in the continuous effort, right, than you were 6 months ago, a year ago, right? And this is one of those things, that I want to bring the attention and awareness, and hopefully I can snap you out of this whole, fast, pace of society and our daily grind, and just maybe I can just bring you into the moment and have you be present, be mindful, and hopefully, that this lesson that I gained today, that really just taught me something today and made me slow things down and really just slow my pace, right? And just become aware, with the present. Hopefully I can pass it over to you as well. And when I touch on if you're putting in that continuous effort, 225 for me didn't come easy, right? For me, it was a lot of work, right? A lot of, prioritizing, recovery, making sure that my nutrition and protein intake was on point, making sure that my workouts were also fairly well structured, right? Around strength and just, volume and intensity. And, I think that in the last 6 months, I've been able to really not only fully develop and bring out a really more 3D-like chest, but also the strength, right? That's something that I'm really happy about. But it's just one thing that I also want to, pass over to you, right? That you also need to be continuously showing up, putting in the effort, right? Moving with intensity, right? Training with intensity, right? And putting in the work, right? Showing up, right? Daily, putting in the work, right? Because that's how you're going to achieve these results. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been an easy past 6 months. But I think today, if I look back, all that hard work actually has paid off. And you don't really realize it in real time, especially if, you're not taking that time to just become aware. And this is one of those things, that I want to share with you. Another message that I want you to take away from this video is I don't want you to necessarily stop and smell the roses and be satisfied, right? I think that there's a famous quote by Christian Guzman. I think he says, proud but never satisfied. I think that's what I want you to be more so, right? Be proud but never satisfied, right? I don't want you to be satisfied and, just start getting cold feet. Like, you still need to continue pushing forward and with more intensity, because intensity does build immensity, and just like really lock in. I really need you to lock in, because you'll be surprised what you can do in the next 6 months. And that's what I want to share with you guys, right? Because I've already shared with you guys what I can do right now. And my next goal for me is 275. So we're going to continue, just working, right, on getting stronger. And we'll stop to smell the roses in a couple months, and I'll be checking back in with you guys. But I want to invite you on the same journey that I'm going down on. And, because I feel like that's the feeling or the purpose of life, that we should be on this continuous personal development of ourselves, right? Continuing to improve, right? Self-improvement, be it in all aspects of our life, right? Physical, mentally, spiritually, financially, in all aspects. But I just want to share this with you guys. So I want to invite you guys, to this channel. If you got anything out of this message, out of this video, please make sure to like, drop a comment down below, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next vid.